Let's do a full step lash application on my beautiful model. We're going to be starting off with these really cute cloud under eye pads. I think it's really important to start with under eye pads because as soon as you start looking through the lashes with your tweezers, you could accidentally poke someone with your tweezers to the skin, and you don't want to do that. So as a beginner, just always start off with the under eye pads. Highly recommend. In addition, what I would normally do is some tape, which you'll see here soon. And this is my lash lineup. I'm using some premium eyelashes from Bylash. Love the quality of these lashes, really nice and dark pigmented. And we're going to be going for a really nice clean girl aesthetic wet lash look, and it's going to be like wispy at the same time. You'll see, like, it's going to turn out really pretty. So I'm using these fiber boot tweezers. I've really come to love the boot tweezer, but only because they are a fiber, and the little fibers are like little ridges in the tweezer, so it really helps you pick up those lashes off the tray, make it a seamless, nice lash fan. And these tweezers are from Vylash, but most companies do have fiber tweezers by now, so you could really grab any, whatever your preference is. I am applying little narrow fans, and at this point you should probably already know how to make these, but basically you can do a light shimmy or you can just straight pick them off of the lash strip and just don't fan them out, and then that's how you get a narrow fan. And even a closed fan, with a closed fan you can simply pinch them at the top with your fingers instead of pinching at the bottom, just so that they will stay together. And I normally do this after I have dipped it into the glue. So you can see here how narrow these lash fans are, or basically they are spikes. And normally I will start off with my spikes so that I can pick the placement of them. And then what I'll do is, in that same little area that I placed my first round of spikes, right next to them usually, I'll do like a set of like 3 with a couple of different lengths, just so that those spikes can really show throughout the lash set. That is probably one of the biggest mistakes that lash techs make when they're making these wispy lash looks, is that their spikes just simply are nowhere to be found. And it's because you're not sizing up appropriately and not like batch creating them, I should say, or putting them like in a bundle, or putting like 3 to 4 next to each other so that they really stand out. And you do have to be careful so that it doesn't look too piecey and isolated, because some can just look more like that anima set. If that's not the look you're going for, you want to avoid that. And you can do that by basically tapering down on either side of the longest spike by 1 or 2 millimeters and placing a couple of shorter spikes right around the long spike, and kind of pointing and angling them to a point, and that way you will be able to see them and it'll create a nice flow within your wispy lash set. Another tip for your wisps, if you are having trouble or if you don't want it to take so much time with pinching the tops, if they keep flaring out, what you can do is you can take some super bonder or some primer. My preference is primer. I have seen people use super bonder, but to be honest, I find that it leaves the tips of the lashes crunchy, and so it's harder to brush through them and to pick them up, if you get what I'm saying. When you go to pick up a spike, it's almost like it's sticking to the other tips of the lashes. So what I would recommend is using a primer. Even water, just to make them kind of stick in that moment, will do. Here you can kind of see in the mirror what it looks like, and this is essential throughout lashing a wet or wispy lash look, is to constantly check the placement of your wisps to make sure that you can see them, because they will disappear in your lash set. Another recommendation I have is also to upsize the diameter of the lashes you're using. And basically, if you're doing a wispy set and you're placing those spikes, you're going to want to upsize the diameter. So if your lash set overall is going to be a 0.03 for all the rest of the lashes, your spikes, you're going to want them to be a 0.05 or a 0.07 so that they really stand out. You really want them to pop. That is the beauty of having a wispy lash look. When you don't do this, they just kind of flow in with all the rest of the lashes and easily can go missing, and it's just not going to be the desired look. I used to create wispy lash sets all the time. They had spikes in them, but the spikes would disappear. And so I somehow was able to brand myself with these wispy lash looks. And I knew that I had spikes in there, but no one else did. So they just look like a wispy hybrid look. But now this year, I've been really moving towards having a nice wispy wet lash look so that you can really tell that there is lots of dimension in these lash sets, and you achieve that by using different curls for your spikes. You want something a bit more curly so that it stands out. So you're going to use like a D curl. And then for the rest of the lashes, you're going to want to do less curl, which could be a C or a CC curl. Now this is what it looks like with most of the lashes done. And we're just filling in the outer and inner corners here. I like to leave out a few of the outer corners and inner corners just because those lashes usually go astray and they're not always facing the right way, and placing lashes on those lashes can change the overall look of this lash set. So we don't want to do that. We want to be wise, and yes, you want to lash as many lashes as you can, but if those lashes are going to alter the look of this lash set and make the eyes droop, then we're just going to leave the last 5 or 6 lashes out and just ignore them. Trust me, it's worth it. I used to lash every single lash for the most part, and the lash sets just did not look the same. This works really well, especially for your clients that, they're really adamant about their lash fills. You want them to come back every 2 weeks. You want them to have a very personalized, customized lash set. And it's important that you explain to them, listen, you're going to go home, you're going to brush through your lashes, you're going to see a few lashes out on the other side, on the outer corners. Don't worry, it's like that on purpose. It is because we mapped out your eye, and it's just not going to be flattering for this lash look on you. This is why there's a few lashes missing, so that they don't question your skills as a lash tech. Once I had the desired density of my lash set, because I also didn't want it to be too overpowering, because that is the beauty of these wet set clean girl aesthetic lashes, that if somebody has a lot of natural lashes and you give them the wet look, then it can still look really dense and really thick and like Russian looking, and you don't want that. So you basically want to go in and still lash every single lash that you possibly can, but we're going to switch to classic lashes, use a thin diameter. I love the 1.5s. They're just so natural and light and fluffy that there's just something about them. I really do avoid doing the 0.2s. I find that they can look a little crisp and a little thick, and sometimes also they just kind of pop off very easily, so the retention isn't as good in my opinion. So I like using a 1.5, and like you can see here, it is the perfect just wisp on this client. She's a bit younger. We didn't want it to be too thick and too dramatic. We also easily could have done longer lashes because she has a lot of lid space between her brow and her eyes. So, but we didn't because we wanted to keep it a little bit more natural looking, and I just love how the set turned out. It is, to this day, my favorite lash look on these almond eyes. Just so beautiful. I think this is very on trend for this upcoming year. If you want to separate yourself from the regular lash tech in your area, then doing light, fluffy sets like this is your go-to, and you'll be able to really brand yourself and start charging top dollar for these, because people will be requesting these from you, and they're going to just want to come to you for this because you're going to basically specialize in these looks. Grab yourself a few models, do a few of your own custom sets, put them all over your social media. If you guys need some extra help with social media, branding, or anything like that, please send me a DM on Instagram. I do offer coaching one-on-one, and we can start building up your business so that in 2024 you will be booked out and busy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys want more of these webinar style lash tutorials, please let me know. I love doing this. Look how gorgeous this turned out.